Building Ideas is proudly brought to you by the Master Builders Association.
Building ideas, lots of great ideas you really need to know. Building ideas, sit back, relax and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome. You're in for a real treat today because not only do we have some fantastic building segments to show you, but we're also going to be hosting the show from this wonderful Alan Shepherd Constructions home. This is our feature home today, which we're going to show you right through the entire residence, and we're going to show you all the special inclusions. You know, every time I hear Alan Shepherd Constructions' name get mentioned, I do get excited because they really have set the benchmark at building excellence, and I know that we're in for something beautiful. The professional team at Alan Shepherd Constructions pride themselves on building homes that dreams are made of, and they'll sit down with their clients for as long as it takes to create a design brief and construction plan that everyone's happy with and can successfully work towards. It's this one-on-one approach, dedicated service and outstanding building quality that sets Alan Shepherd Constructions apart from the rest. I have to admit that I've heard time and time again that Alan Shepherd builds sensational homes, and it's true. I get to showcase this stunner today down at Seacliff on our metropolitan coastline, and it really encapsulates what beach living is all about. The owners have been wanting to build their dream home for some time, but had difficulty finding the right builder to do so. That's until they found Alan and his team. Their detailed brief outlined their desire for a contemporary home that reflected their beachy lifestyle and captured the expansive and beautiful sea views. The facade blends an interesting mix of building products that certainly complement the symmetrical architectural lines of the home. Striking, crisp white render, coupled with a free-form natural sandstone feature wall and impressive raised entry create immediate interest and appeal. And the use of commercial grade windows and stainless steel will ensure that the home will stand the test of time and the harsh coastal exposure it receives on a daily basis. This really is a magnificent residence with so many special features. Just wait till you have a look inside. Now, as I promised before, we do have a terrific lineup of stories, so let's have a look at some of them now. Andrew will have all the latest looks and trends on the bathroom front. He has an interesting story about house names, and I'll see what's new in lighting. A great lineup for this show, so let's get started. It's over to Andrew.
Building a new home is generally something that we don't plan on doing all that often, and most people will only do it once, if that. It's such a big investment, so it's worthwhile doing it right the first time around. And one of the most important things that often gets overlooked is not preparing for the future. Building a home that meets your current needs is obviously very important, but it's also a great idea to plan for what your future needs might be. So just think about that for a moment. For a lot of us, there are generally 3 phases in our lives. The first one being when you're young, single, and looking to build or buy your first home. Then there's the family stage, and after that, the empty nest or retirement stage. Each one of these stages brings with it various expectations, priorities, and requirements. So whilst we may only build one home in our lifetime, it's a good idea to try and build one that addresses as many of these stages and ticks as many boxes as possible. When we're young and looking to build our first home, our priorities are certainly different to when we're older and wanting to retire. Whilst finance is generally the biggest difference, we also want different things from a home when we're younger than what would be important when we're older. Consider big picture aspects like a single-storey home versus a double-storey home. You might think a double-storey home's a great idea when you're younger, but traipsing up and down the stairs when you're older might not be so appealing. Similarly, whilst it might just be you or you and your partner now, building a cool townhouse with no yard might not meet your future needs, especially if you're planning to extend your family. The same goes at the other end of the spectrum. Why build a massive house when it's just you and your partner and the kids have all moved out? So I guess there's no easy answer other than to consider as many different options as possible and give some thought to what additional living arrangements and future plans you might have. And then maybe it's a good idea to build a happy medium. Many homes nowadays are designed and built with longevity in mind. And by that I mean they're built to suit first homeowners, families, and even empty nesters. All you have to do is keep the floor plan flexible. What may be the nursery at one stage of your life may well end up being a study or a utility room at another stage. If you're building your first home, rather than build it with just 2 bedrooms, consider including a third, just in case you add to your family. Likewise, if you're building a home to meet the needs of a bigger family, consider what each room or area will be used for once the kids have all grown up and moved out of home. Making the best use of your block is very important, and by building to the maximum allowable space, you'll be leaving yourself open to various options and the ability to be flexible in the future. Now, the majority of master builders have a broad range of designs available to suit a broad range of lifestyle requirements, and they'll be only too happy to help you build a house that suits you now and into the future. So if you want some information, have a look at sadisplayvillage.com.au.
Building ideas. Building ideas.
One of the things I've noticed about the cooler weather upon us is that by almost early evening it's completely dark. Winter is well and truly upon us, which has made me realise one thing: how important it is to have the correct lighting in your home. Lighting has changed dramatically in recent years, and with so many different lighting options available, it's possible to create a vast array of looks and moods in our homes. So choosing the right light fitting for a particular room in order to create the ambience you'd like can be quite daunting. With the increase in open plan living and dining areas, downlights quickly became the best option for lighting these large open areas, especially because the aim was to light the space without cluttering the open feel, and downlights revolutionised the way we light up our homes. However, over the past few years, there's been a noticeable shift back to include beautiful hanging lights and pendants, and with these comes the ability to create distinct moods and settings. So Chris, what are some of the benefits of lighting your home properly?
Well, as human beings, we respond to the way our spaces are lit emotionally. So good lighting is important because it can affect one's mood as well as enhance the desirability of our design spaces.
That's true.
So you'll be amazed how quickly a poorly lit room will become abandoned.
And so run me through some of the different design elements that you have here.
In terms of lighting options, common fitting styles for a home, the suspension light, we've got your typical table lamps, floor lamps, recess fittings, and you've also got ceiling mounted units.
And so depending on maybe heights of ceilings or wall space, then you choose
Absolutely.
whichever suits.
Absolutely. It comes down to really understanding the intention of the room and understanding the space.
If you'd like further information, then visit sadisplayvillage.com.au. On Building Ideas, we like to showcase a lot of community services created through the built form by our South Australian Government, and today is really focused on the young of our community, and it is really to show the improved child development outcomes.
The initiative's led by the Department for Education and Child Development, but it's a real partnership approach. So we're working in partnership with UNICEF Australia, Save the Children, Anglicare SA, the DeLissa Chair in Early Childhood Research, and local government and communities.
Child Friendly SA is about supporting the UN Convention on the Rights of Children in South Australia and bringing children and communities together to achieve better outcomes for young people.
In South Australia, what we're trying to do, first of all, is help people to really understand what the convention means and really understand children's rights, and supporting communities to actually embed children's rights as part of everyday life.
Child Friendly SA is also informed by the Leading Edge Children's Voices project that began in 2010 and involved the SA government's engagement with 350 children across 11 state regions.
Children's participation sits right at the heart of Child Friendly SA because it's one of the 4 key principles of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. So what we're asking communities to do is start to really listen to children, listen to what they're saying, really seek to understand what they're saying and to respond to them appropriately in relation to local decision making and local planning.
6 child-friendly SA community goals have been developed which aim to improve opportunities, experiences and outcomes for children and young people in relation to their health, education, safety, well-being, active participation, play and leisure.
Because we've got the partnership with UNICEF Australia, we're just working really hard to develop a framework in South Australia which rewards communities for investing in children and young people. So we're looking to build a recognition model where communities and in particular councils can actually gain an award for investing in children and young people and improving outcomes for children and young people locally.
There are 3 communities in South Australia aiming to become recognised by UNICEF Australia as child-friendly communities: Campbelltown, Gawler and Onkaparinga. The key objective is to include children in the development and establishment of actual infrastructure in their local communities. The project in South Australia involved close to 1,000 children and young people and gave them the opportunity to literally audit their local community. This was done by identifying the facilities they use and asking them how these can be enhanced and improved. The ideas and suggestions generated by the children and young people were then reported back to key local decision makers. Then, as part of the Department of Premier and Cabinet's Better Together initiative, funding was secured to implement some of the key suggestions of the children involved in the project.
Our kids are part of our community, and operating from a whole of community perspective means that they're included. So we are having a community that's inclusive of all facets, and children and family are a vital component of that.
Building ideas.
If you're like me, you spend as little time in the bathroom as possible. But with the advent of luxurious bathrooms and en-suites that feature some of the best fittings and fixtures around, it's no surprise then that people are spending more and more time in these privately created sanctuaries than they were before. Like kitchens, bathroom makeovers are high on our agendas when it comes to renovating our houses. And when building new homes, bathrooms are a big ticket item. Not only in relation to the dollars we spend, but also in the planning and design phases, as well as in the inclusion of top-of-the-range fittings and fixtures. There are so many different styles of bathroom products available on the market, so you're bound to find something to suit your home and the look that you're trying to achieve. Whether it's the most contemporary vanity and basin or a more traditional style pedestal basin, your options are virtually endless. Feature tiles like stunning glass mosaics that come in a variety of colours and sizes can also add a great wow factor and really lift the overall look and appeal of an otherwise plain bathroom. Spa bars, overhead rain showers, steam rooms and massaging jet streams are also becoming more the norm, as is floor-to-ceiling tiling using oversized, high-quality tiles. The options for your bathroom are limited only by your imagination. Planning and choosing your bathroom is the first step towards making it a great place to soothe the soul and calm the nerves. So if you're thinking about creating your own private sanctuary at home, the Master Builders Association can point you in the right direction. For a referral, have a look at sabuildingdirectory.com.au or drop into GWA Bathrooms and Kitchens on McGill Road.
With the calibre of bathrooms we've just seen, I doubt whether you'd ever want to leave home. What luxury. And luxury is what today's feature home epitomises. It's been built by award-winning master builders Alan Shepherd Constructions, and as you'd expect, it's to the highest standard with outstanding workmanship. Built on our metropolitan coastline, this stylish home epitomises true building quality and includes all of the luxuries one would expect from an Alan Shepherd built home. Based on the seemingly never-ending views, this home was designed into 2 distinct zones. The upper story is the parents' retreat and lookout, and the lower zone complete with a fully tiled in-ground pool and hideaway for the kids. 3 metre ceilings upstairs and 2.7 metre ceilings to the lower level provide a terrific sense of space and freedom, which is definitely highlighted by the 7 metre high atrium stairwell. I've been walking around this house and I've been thinking, what is it that draws me to it? And I've worked it out. It's the abundance of light. It's just so bright and airy. You want to sit out and watch the beach and the world go by. You'd never want to go on holidays. And that mixed with all the special building features. For example, how cool is this floor? All the beautiful mixture of colours. It's called grey ironbark, and I don't think it would show up footmarks at all. That mixed with the sandstone feature walls and the gorgeous entertaining areas, it works really well. And we're going to show you more of this beautiful home and its outstanding features a little bit later in the show. But after the break is Andrew with a story on house names, and I'm looking forward to that.
Building ideas. Building ideas.
Imagine if we were identified by numbers instead of by our names. What's in a name? And what has all of this got to do with building ideas? Well, quite a lot actually. Did you know that prior to the 1930s, almost all homes built in Australia were given names? Usually they were named by the builder, the architect, or the homeowner. Naming homes was a way of identifying them, and it allowed, for example, the mailman to deliver the mail, the milkman to deliver the milk, the baker to deliver the bread, and any other deliveries that needed to be made to the correct address. House names were often derived from our first settlers' origins, or in honour of the influential patrons they'd left behind. It wasn't just houses of grandeur that were named, cottages were also often named, and in many cases they were named after the owner's place of birth. When you think about some of our suburbs, it's evident that some of their names were derived from early house names as well. Names were derived from special events, foreign and Australian cities and towns, flowers, birds, battles, and even ancient mythology. Aboriginal names have also become popular. Interestingly, once a house was named, it didn't necessarily retain that name. And often, when the ownership of the house changed hands, so too did the house's name. New owners brought with them new names. Various methods were used to attach the names to homes, with one of the most common being to attach the name to the front gate. In other instances, a nameplate was created and attached to the wall near the front door, or painted on the house, and in some cases the name of the house would feature in the glass above the front door, like is common in many hotels around town today. Nameplates of beaten copper or brass mounted on board were also popular and are still available from various salvage shops or specialist suppliers. It's not only our character homes that have been given names, it's now also common for builders to name the new homes that they've built as well. And all you have to do to see evidence of this is to take a drive to one of the many housing estates located all around Adelaide. Now, I have to admit that my house doesn't have a name, but I'm thinking maybe I should give it one. What was my first pet's name?
Naming our homes would be lots of fun, but I think it might complicate the address a bit too much, so we'll have to stick with the numbers. Now, I'm back in today's beautiful feature home, and this is the kitchen, meals and living area with the sensational view. Now, I wasn't exaggerating, was I? You know what it is that really attracts me to these places is ones that have holiday feels to them. And this one has a beautiful beachy one, which I think is what the owners were trying to achieve. Like the rest of the house, it's light and very spacious. The home is built on a pretty steep site, so it's been cleverly designed to combat its western exposure. This has been achieved with undulating eaves and varying window sizes. It's a terrific home for entertaining and ideal for the busy family that resides here. Standout features for me are the striking mid-blue fully tiled in-ground pool, the lovely timbered decking around the pool, and the elegant kitchen with its rich chocolate coloured joinery and crisp white stone island bench. The grey ironbark timber floors throughout are also gorgeous. They have such warm, soft honey-coloured hues. As you'd expect, the wet areas including the main bathroom and ensuite are superbly finished and very functional. This is the sandstone fireplace, and I can imagine when it's lit, oh, it would be such a warm, cosy spot to sit in the open plan living area. And really, when you look around, this whole place, it flows beautifully. I really like the way so many different materials have been brought together, like the Western red cedar batten timber ceilings to the outdoor entertaining area with the grey rectangular tiles. Or then the timber floors with the aluminium windows. It all works really well. The cellar is a definite highlight as well, and the recycled old red bricks add to its earthy rustic charm. I've met many of Alan's clients over the years, and they all have one thing in common. They love their homes, and they've all said that they love working with Alan and his team. Well, you can't get better than that. Now, it's nearly time for us to go, but this is what we have coming up next week. We'll be looking at all the merits and what you should consider if you're thinking about having an ethanol fireplace installed in your home. They're certainly all the rage, and I can see why. Andrew has some handy hints about winterproofing your home. And we'll look at how you can update your home with just a few interior accessories. It's going to be another great show, so I really hope we get to see you then. Now, if you've enjoyed seeing today's feature home built by Alan Shepherd Constructions and you'd like to see more, then you should look up their website, alanshepherd.com.au, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Building ideas, handy hints, there's always something new. Building ideas, lots of great ideas you really need to know. Do-do-do-do. Building ideas.
Building Ideas proudly brought to you by the Master Builders Association.